Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back once again with Temur Eldrazi Ramp in a post-Underworld Breach world. So you might notice a few differences in the list. We are running Mega Spawn, riding Chrysalis instead of Karn the Great Creator, have a different sideboard. Everything's kind of in flux right now, so we're just kind of testing here and there what's working, what's not working, going from there. Let's take a look at this hand real quick. What makes this hand good? Specifically a lab, which is only 4 hits off the top, which is not great. Yes, we have 2 draws, but we need to hit it on 1. So I think we mulligan this. Yeah. Okay, double Malevolent Rumble command. I'll keep this. Drop the Rumble, drop the Devourer. Let's drop the Rumble, look for a Soul Land. Reveal, pass. Yeah, right now I'm mainly going to be testing non-Karn the Great Creator versions as the meta settles to try and figure out what exactly the meta is going to look like. Once the meta has settled a bit, that'll give me more of an indication of what the Karn board should look like, and then we can do some more in-depth testing of Karn specifically. So I'm going to give it a couple weeks before we test Karn. Faithless Looting, this could be a few things. Could be Hollow 1 for 1. Could be Indomitable Creativity. That's another option. Yeah, that'd be my first 2 guesses based on the land. Fable. Patchwork Formation still throws me a bit off. Does this make a token? No. I guess it creates a food, so maybe. I'm sticking with, I think, because of the Fable, Indomitable Creativity. No. Soul Land. We could go Myco Spawn, though. We'll grab the Myco Spawn. It's not my preferred. And we'll grab the Soul Land. Temple, pass. Hold up the ability to respond on the off chance it's relevant. Otherwise we rumble. Question is what we're trying to rumble into. Like, yeah, Mega Spawn would be good. Chrysalis would be bad. Arid Mesa fetch for Blood Crypt. Starting to feel more and more like Creativity, Ren 6, the Seiju. Interesting. Yes. Breeding Pool, Shock, I suppose. That's a bit aggressive, but I do think I know what that means, and I think I need to be a bit aggressive here as well. I do think this is Creativity. I do think they have Ren 6, and I think they're trying to Besage loot me, and I'm not going to have it. I think this is a very aggressive play on my part, but that's very aggressive on theirs and makes me a bit suspicious for what's to come. I guess a good example of why maybe I should just play the mountain. Or not mountain, the forest, rather. Rumble. Yeesh. We'll grab the lab. And then pass. Hold up the ability to respond, off chance that it's relevant. I guess since we were setting up for the Rumble turn 2, probably would have just been safer to play the Forest, so that way there's no chance of a Besage on 2. Not that I think that I think not that I think that was the right play by them, but I mean if they're going to go Ren and 6 on 2, I can kind of make a bit more sense of it. Triple red breaker. Breaker resolves. Draw. Yeah, this does make me very concerned for whatchamacallit. Indomitable Creativity. Like, Creativity now bumps us down to 5 mana, which means I need a soul land for the Devourer. The good news is that we'll be able to pitch the return and sweep board. So exile Fable and sweep. Yep, so I was right about the creativity. There's also an argument, I suppose, about setting up a red source, so we had this return, but it looks like they don't have the creativity, so that's good news. That's bad news, because that could be a persist. Creates a treasure. Do you have persist is the question. No. Okay. Red. Bolt. So they have a sense for me casting the Devourer. Verdant Cat. And pass. Why would they pitch the Archon? I guess they're looking for the creativity, yeah? Did you find the creativity is the question? Another Dwarven Mine. You could Faithless Looting again, Jesus. Okay. It'd be an X equals 2. If they attack with the Goblin Shaman first, it could be X equals 3. Flashback. Okay. Really digging deep here, not tapping the black. Looking for persist, maybe. Finding nothing. Trigger. I will not block. That's a persist. Yes. How do you want to proceed? Archon. I'm going to fetch. Commercial District. Trigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Need a soul land. That's not a soul land. It is a playable. That's not great. Graveyard. Sack. Pitch. We're looking for a soul land specifically. Draw. That is unfortunate, I will admit. Talisman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next issue is I can return, and I do need to do so now. That way they can't copy the Archon. I'll have to pass holding back the forest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Well, I guess a good question is, what's more likely for me to draw into a land, or for me to draw into a 7-mana value spell? Guess we'll find out. Attack, trigger, pitch the forest, down to 6, down to 1. We'll pass in full. Do you have a bolt? No bolt. 3, 4, 5. X2 creativity, target Archon, target treasure for 6 damage. Yes, you got it. So this is Indomitable Creativity. Loss for game 1. Let's move on to game 2. Well, I did have a sneaking suspicion that Warping Whale would be useful. There would be a lot more decks like Creativity sprouting up. So I'm glad I made that call, because that hits Persist, that hits Creativity pretty cleanly. You can cut the Gemstone. Question is, do we want Return or Dismember? You could also bring in Jailer, as Jailer cuts off the Persist line. The Warping Well is arguably much better in comparison, right? Micah Spawn's not bad in this matchup, as when we keep them off of lands, of course, then it's going to be harder for them to cast that. Consign's not bad either. It's not great either. It's not fantastic. It's okay, right? Worldbreaker similarly is okay. Interesting. So maybe a couple Dismembers and maybe cut a Worldbreaker here. Yeah, let's run like this. I guess we could have also have argued to like maybe cut a Ghost Quarter here. Yeah. I will keep. We go Forest, Sprawl for red, Temple, potentially Talisman, hold up Command. Depends on what we see off the top of Devourer, I suppose. Because we find a land, then this line gets us to 7 pretty quick for a breaker. When it goes down to 6. Reveal Devourer. Trigger. There's a Sowing Myco spawn. We'll go with Sowing Myco spawn. We'll go Utopia Sprawl for red. Because of Chrysalis, we do need to really prioritize green-red whenever possible. Bloodstainmire fetch. Unless they're looting, it's likely a Thoughtseize on one. And if they Thoughtseize, they likely take command. Which means we'll likely end up playing Mycospawn fetch for a lab. Lab Imprint Devourer. That way we can cast Breaker the following turn. Like I said, the right card to pick here is Command. And it's just too versatile to ignore. Yep. Okay. So that is fine. Draw. Temple. Cast the Mycospawn. Find lab imprint devourer. Cast talisman, and now we have breaker next turn. So unless they have another Thoughtseize or some way to interact with my mana, we should be able to set them back a turn. There's a Dwarven Mine. Lightning Bolt takes out the spawn. That's fine. Not the end of the world. Draw. Another Myco spawn. I actually do like casting Myco spawn here because we can insulate the World Breaker. So I'll get rid of the Blood Crypt. I'll grab Lab. Lab will imprint Breaker, so now it's insulated from a Thoughtseize. We can always return it in response to Besage-You, and even if we return it and they Besage-You, that's still fine. Faithless Loot. There's no chance of Besage-You. So we can just put a pause on end step. If they don't find a land, they're set back to 0. Yeah, maybe we do want to actually keep World Breaker in, maybe cut Null Drifter or Devourer. Emrakul. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's not happening right now. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. World Breaker, target mine, and go to combat. Attack with Myco Spawn. If this goes through, it means they don't have a Fatal Push. They do not have a Fatal Push. Good to know. Down to 11. Commercial District. Surveil Trigger. And opponent scoops it up. We'll take it. Alright, on to game 3. We do want Gemstone back. We'll cut the Ghost Quarter. And I don't think we can cut Bog or Cavernous Souls or Gemstones. We keep as is. Again, I think maybe I cut a Devourer in favor of a World Breaker, because again, land destruction here actually is pretty relevant. Because as long as we keep them off of 4 mana and nothing on board, then their creativities do nothing. And of course, Persist is still a threat that we need to be wary of. I mean, we have a lot of solid hits for lands, but it is risky. So as far as soul lands are concerned, we only have 4, and that would allow for us to go after a Myco Spawn kick turn 3. Otherwise, it's a bit slow for my liking, so I think we mulligan. This is much better. We'll keep Pitch, Bog, done, reveal, Gemstone, yes, exile the forest, and pass. So what are we looking for here, I guess is a good question. Malevolent Rumble, Command, Seize will hit a Devourer, and that's fine. Trigger 1, trigger 2 coming up. Talisman is okay. It's not good though. You could go for Dismember. That's also a thought. I'll go Talisman. And trigger 2. I think, yeah, Rumble would be the best case scenario. There it is. And we'll insulate the Devourer. And cast Malevolent Rumble. Emrakul. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not really looking great, so I think we go Temp. And then pass. So if we top deck a Sowing Mycospawn, we'd be in a good position. We have 4 out of 44, so 1 out of 11. Roughly a 10% chance. That looks like a Wrenn and 6 if I had to wager a guess. Beseiju. Beseiju is fine. Yes. I will grab a Commercial District. This way if we find a Chrysalis, we can play that. Breeding Pool to the grave. And pass. And draw. Talisman. I shall play a Talisman. I shall play a Temple and pass. And hold up the player Respawn on the off chance it's relevant. Again, we have a ton of good top decks here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Short on Emrakul. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So any 7-mana value spell we can cast though. So that is nice. So we have Sowing Mycospawn, we have World Breaker, some really good hits there. And I think that's what, 5 hits, Dwarven Mine into Yard. Wrenn and 6 picks up the Seiju. Pings the spawn. I think picking up the Seiju was probably smarter. That's just me. Draw. Command. Yeah. So now they can Beseiju loop us, which is not great. We pass. Imagine Wrenn and 6 pluses. So now they're just pretty much going to try and sinkhole us out the game. We already know that there's a Breeding Pool out. And 2 forests leave me just with the... Oh, they don't. Interesting. Able to Mirror Breaker. Draw. Chrysalis. It's not good enough. Triggers. So at least we have blockers now. The issue now is that they're likely going to go for what? Creativity? No. If they went for creativity, they would go for a Dwarven Mine, right? And then Wrenn and 6 Dwarven Mine? Well, I guess they can still do that and still X equals 2. Oh, yeah. Double Archon to the grave, looking for Persist. To combat. Really? to blocks. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Bitter reunion. One. Looking for persist still. Double red. For what? Picks up. Okay, it's for x equals. No, they can't. X equals 1. Fetch down to 11. 3. Another Fable. Brotherhood End. 3 damage. So no matter what, Writhing Chrysalis dies, as well as the tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could draw into a land. Each creature in each planeswalker means Ren 6 goes on to 1. Yeah, only goes up to 5, so it does die regardless. So I could sack a land for a breaker to get rid of a Fable. Is that worth it though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think so. So we'll just go mana loss. Draw. Of course. It was worth it. Name Eldrazi. And pass. Alright, well, let's see it, opponent. Another Fable. Okay, Fable's fine. Well, to uptick Ren, otherwise Ren dies. Gets Dwarven Mine. So this X equals 1 for creativity if they want. Gain haste. Weird. I imagine maybe it's right for them the reflection of the Kiki Jiki, the Goblin Shaman. That way they make 2 treasures. I guess that would be my initial thought. End step. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will return World Breaker and sacrifice the forest. And draw. Emrakul. 3, 10. We had only been at 11, so moot point there. Have an excess of caution. And I think we do go after the Fable. Though maybe it's arguable to go after the Fable that will draw them cards. Yeah. Maybe in retrospect that's correct. Like, neither one of them is good because of creativity. They need to get to creativity first, though, and the Fable... Yeah, the Fable in the back row will get them closer to a persist or a creativity than the one on board, which is only beneficial if they get to a persist or creativity, so give and take, I suppose. Yeah, so I think that may have been a bit of a misplay. There's a Terastodon telling me once again they didn't find the persist or don't have the persist or the creativity, but they could now, is the problem. Huh. Yeah, so I think I should have went after the one in the back row in retrospect. The fact, though, that they're not immediately going for either or tells me they might not have anything yet. Wooded Foothills, fetch. No, they have it. X equals 4. Looking like it. No. What the hell? Want this? Terastodon? So they hit World Breaker and 2 lands, probably Temple, and I don't know. Don't think it matters. I think the Terastodon hardcast will get me. We were just a wee bit slow, methinks. Yeah. Oh, interesting. They didn't go after the breaker. Weird. Why not? 1, 2, 3, 4 mana left over. Draw. You can play the Chrysalis. And pass. And hold up the ability to respond. Just in case they try and go for a shock, I suppose. Dwarven Mine. Well, I guess the biggest thing now is that Fable can copy Terastodon next turn. So we do need to get rid of that Reflections of Kiki Jiki. Currently we're at 6 mana, which means we're at 11 for... No, sorry, 9. I can do math. Beseiju, so now they're just going to go for the Beseiju loops. And we are hurting on lands. I mean, we're more or less at a standstill right now. Do I have any way forward? I guess commands would help try and bridge the gap with our current mana. Thoughtseize will hit an Emrakul if they go that route. Faithless Looting, again looking for either persist or creativities. That's potentially that all their creativity targets are now engrave. Pitching a Beseiju that I just picked up? Really? Weird. Other looting. I mean, that tells me they may have drawn into 2 decent cards. Combat. Really now. Go to blocks. Why do this? Because we can... I'm trying to think here. 3, 6 plus 3, 6, 8, 9. So I can block here. I can block here. Here. I guess. No. I think we cancel. Reset blockers. Yeah, because if I go here, here, and here, they can only kill 1, right? Either they kill 2 or they kill 1. I guess alternatively, if I go here and go Writhing Chris, then they can only kill 1 if I sack the spawns. No sacking the spawn's correct. Probably not. So yeah, I think we do go... like the... well, that's still requiring me to sack the spawns, right? Ugh. Yeah, if we triple block rather than double. Ugly, ugly. I have to go about this. So yeah, I think I do have to do this. That's 10 toughness, but only 7 damage. So block like this. Fatal push. Fatal push. So no matter what, I think I was doomed to fail there. Rip. Well, that is unfortunate. Because, yeah, if we had triple blocked instead, we'd have to quad block, basically, the Terrasson to make sure that didn't happen. Destroy all artifacts. Yeesh. Down to 2 mana now. Emrakul's at 6. Would've been good if we had the Myca spawn still. Shoot. And now Terrastodon just gets looped. They want to take out the remainder of my mana, I suppose. Otherwise, they can just build their board, which is a valid option. Okay, I'm just gonna bolt. And fail push? Jesus. Okay, well, I really had nothing. And now they just copy Terrastodon. That's 18 damage. Yes. Yep, they got it. Yeah, I mean, hardcasting Terrastodon does do the job. Alright, well, we'll be back for match 2. Alright, and we're back for match 2 on the play for game 1. Let's take a look at our opening hand. Mulligan. It's playable at the very least. We pitch Bog. It is top deck reliant, of course. I'm going to go for blue since we have the talismans for red, and pass, and pass. Forest, Hardened Scales. Okay. At least we know what we're up against. Pass. So that is 5 mana. So if we draw into a soul land, we could get rid of... ooh, interesting. Overseer. No soul land. Either take 1 or 2 this turn. I'll just take the 1. Chris. Stomping Ground tapped and pass. Hold out the ability to respond. We'll break her next turn. Zabaz. Make a Saga token. Steal Overseer. Yeah, that grows them pretty quick, don't it? I do think I need to get rid of the Ink Moth on the off chance they have the Ravager. So let's just go for 7. No attacks. And hold up the ability to respond. Saga token, and they can haste it as well. Either that or make it with Trample. Who's with, yeah, another Inkmoth on top, and another Zabaz. So then they modular. They should have, well, they can't do it in response to the legendary, I suppose. That's a big Zabaz. A very big Zabaz. What in the world? I can block with the sowing, or not the sowing max on the spawn token. That means I can't cast the Devourer. I have to block at least one. I can't double block and kill. At most I can go up to 9 power. Maybe we should have gotten rid of the freaking Hardened Scales last turn. Jesus. Like I said, no matter what I have to block, go to blockers and block here. Oh, I freaking hell. Forgot to sack it. I don't think it's gonna matter. No, it's not. Because we can block. 8, yeah, you got it. Would not have mattered. Okay, a bit unexpected to see Hardened Scales. Loss for game 1. Let's move on to game 2, shall we? As far as Hardened Scales is concerned, another argument for maybe reintroducing Meltdown, or rather introducing Meltdown to the side, because Affinity is going to be popular. Maybe Hardened Scales makes a comeback. Consigned to Memory is decent here. Question is Return. Like, Return's not bad, but they can get pretty big pretty quick. We can cut a Gemstone. Maybe cut some number of Devourer in effort for a Dismember. Ghost Quarter's relevant, but Jukabog is kind of, so maybe just cut down on another land for double Dismember. And run it back. To be fair, that's a pretty nutty play there, and to steal Overseer is a bit unusual, I feel, but I haven't played against Hardened Scales all too much, so it's hard for me to say. I will keep. Ideally, we want to be able to scry draw into a kicked Myco. Imprint, pass. Hold up the ability to respond in case it's relevant. Sanctum, Scales, Stirrings, pass. Let's see what they grab. Inkmoth. Crisp, pass. Moments like this, so the question then stands, if that was a Karn, would that be better? I think in this matchup, yes, right? And it'd be less cumbersome as far as the mana cost is concerned. Targets me. Won't matter too much as we're going to scry draw. Should have held on to that. Methinks. Yeah, if that was a Karn, we'd be in a much better spot. And Bone Scoops. We'll take the win. Bring in the Gemstone. And I guess we cut a Dismember. Yeah, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think that that Karn sticks. I think there's still going to be a lot of artifact-focused decks between Hardened Scales, Affinity, Belcher, Brood Scale. I think Karn is just going to be a relevant threat. Forest, Sprawl Red, pass, and pass. We could go Rumble instead of Mycospawn, but Mycospawn might be good as far as a blocker. Yikes. 1. Temple. Yeah, I should have went double green, honestly. That could have been... There could be an argument for me of doing so. Actually, I guess not, because Temple. If it was a lab, then sure, an imprinted lab. Am I worried about them winning next turn? Is there a world where they do off of Inkmoth? Maybe. Ugh. Rumble. Temple. And pass. So this allows us to block with a spawn in that case. Ravager, that's scary. Inkmoth. Block. Draw. Temple. Kick. I'll kick the Inkmoth out. No, thank you. And grab a Temple. Yeah, Temple. And pass. And pass. You have a Hardened Scales. You have a Ballista. Zabaz. Modular. Onto Ravager. Steel Overseer. Doesn't matter which one we attack or block, does it? Block Ravager. Overseer. I think we die. Trying to think if they could do the math. Maybe not. I am going to Rumble. I think I need an Emrakul. And we whiff hard. Oh boy. I suppose Talisman. Actually, we don't have an artifact in Yard. So let's go for Breeding Pool. I will fetch for a forest. We do have another forest, right? Yes. This gives me 2 blockers for what it's worth. Actually 1 because Ballista will ping 1. Forest. And kick. Yeah, those rumbles were god awful. I'll grab a Temple. Could grab a Sanctum. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, Sanctum, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 7 mana gets us to 4. 10, we'd be short. I guess 4 or 5. Still would be short though unless we draw into a soul land, but if we draw into a soul land then we can't crack the Sanctum. We'll still go Sanctum, I think. And pass. Do I think I'm dead regardless. I think so. Because we'll block the Ravager again. Oh, jeez. Okay. I'm not sure that changes the math too much. Oh, second Opal. No, I think that is lethal damage then. I mean, they should have probably just attacked first. There's no reason for them not to. Oh, I guess no, they can now ping it down and then attack. Yeah. And then sack all. Yes. That is, in fact, going to be un loss. Oof. All right. Yes. Starting to feel more and more like maybe Karn is going to be worth keeping. That said, we'll be back for match 3. Alright, and we're back for match 3. On the draw for game 1. We'll mulligan this hand. We'll keep pitch a forest. Done. Pass. What makes this hand better would be a rumble. Saga. Saga then nothing. We'll go temple in case we draw into another temple. I'll ability to respond. I'll have a chance it's relevant. Saga into nothing makes me feel like this might be Titan. This is Titan. So that's a bit frightening. Second Saga. They won't play anything else here, nor are we going to play the command. Draw. Sprawl. In that case, forest. Sprawl for red. And pass. Pass. I do think, could they win this turn? They would have one. No. Interesting. Makes a construct. So they don't have anything. There's the Amulet. Otawara, so they're setting up. They could have Titan next turn, though. Emrakul. Commercial District trigger. Malevolent Rumble top. Do we go Writhing Chrysalis? Or do we go Command? Command X2 is relevant. We'll have double Amulet. We'll hold. We'll have 2 types in Yard. And the question is whether or not they go off this turn. I mean, it's likely that they will. Then pick up Otawara. Titan. There's Titan. So I imagine they go for the Mirror Pool line. So Titan normally doesn't play Keswick Wolf Run anymore, so they won't be able to OTK me with Titan. So there's Mirror Pool Lotus Field. Okay. I need to go after the Aftermath Analyst when they inevitably go for that. They untap, they'll copy tight. Oh, I thought for a second they tapped it for mana. I was like, what? So they're going to need a bounce land and... Oh, they're going to go for another Mirror Pool line. Okay. So I'll make another Titan. They could go haste, but they'd only be able to haste 2. So now the thought would be that they go for Bounce Land T West. Yes. So now you have 3 Titans. Alright. So imagine bounce land T-West. Yep. There's the bounce land T-West, as expected. And then pick up T-West. Sack the Lotus Fields. Sack the T-West for Pact. Yes. And then Pact for Analyst. Yes. There's the Analyst. The mill. And they sacrifice the Aftermath. In response, we'll then play... Oh, they're gonna Pact again? You got to be joking me. For Dryad. Okay, so they're trying to just make the Dryad loop now. So if, as long as they don't win, we're fine. Okay. So we need to exile cards in grave. I can make spawns. Let's see here. So we need to get rid of the Aftermath Analyst. Right? If we do that... Do we get rid of the T-West? Or do we get rid of Mirror Pool? Mirror Pool can make a copy of Titan. We have no interactions, infinite hasted Titans. No. See, that's where you're wrong. Because we go after Mirror Pool. So no infinite Titans. The question is, do we go after Aftermath? I think we... They don't have Mirror Pool. They don't have Shifting. So what can they do? They can T-West, I guess, for another Titan to eventually find Shifting. And Shifting can make infinite mana. And I guess it would be able to get Valakut. So I think we do have to go Aftermath. Done. Pass. Opponent messaged, if you have no interactions, this is infinite hasted Titans, by the way. And then, so I was obviously trying to figure out what we do next. And they just go, oh, I lose now. I'm not sure if they actually lose. They might not. I'm trying to think if they do. Because we've taken out the Aftermath plan. If they have Lumra, though, as a backup, they can still go for a Lumra line. So we'll let them try and figure this out. Because, yeah, I think Lumra can get them there, and so could Cultivator Colossus, right? They have the Dryad in hand. So all they need to do is get to one of those two, and I'm doubtful they don't play either Lumra or Cultivator Colossus. So if they just make as much mana as possible, bounce the T-West, and with T-West, pick up, let's say, unless they've used 2 packs, 2 or 3 packs, how many? 2 packs. So I guess it depends on how many packs they run. Huh. Yeah, because the mirror pool would have been able to get them to haste Titans. I mean, at least this forces them to grab another pack if they have it with the T-West. I mean, at the very least, it makes it a much more complicated line because they don't have access to infinite mana now. And they don't have access to Mirror Pool for Titans. But they could definitely pick up a 4th Titan and haste in 2 Titans, as well as get Valakut. So they could play the Dryad before that, and that would at least hit me for 6. They have an Ottawa in hand, so they can bounce a Spawn. So I think they still have lines here is the thing. Because at the very least, they're going to need to pay 8 mana. So I don't think they're dead. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I don't think they're dead. There's the Dryad. So yeah, I think they're still in this. Scape Shift. Why Scape Shift? Unless they have Lumra. Oh, well. Actually, yeah, this should work. Because now they Valakut. No, they don't. Wait, hold on. Don't they need 5 other mountains? And I think they only had 5 there. How many did they sacrifice? Was it 5 or 6? If it's 6, then we're in trouble. Okay, it was 5. I was right. They're off by 1. So now Valakut doesn't trigger. Yeah, opponent says they messed up. I wonder, need to play a land before playing Dryad. Yeah. So now we don't lose on the spot. However, they can haste 2 Titans as it stands. I still think they can win this though, because by hasting 2 Titans, they'll have 4 land drops, 4 triggers of Valakut. With 4 triggers of Valakut, they can hit me for 12, and then have another 12 coming at me with the Titans, which means I can block the 2 Titans with the 2 spawns. However, but that only takes 2 off the 12 to 10, so I should be hit by 22 points of damage. Not to mention the constructs. Yes. So yes, I am dead regardless. Yeah. Yeah. Double trigger. That's 2, and then 4. So yeah, we're still dead. Didn't really matter. We just made the line far more complicated. Alright. Well, that's unfortunate. We're close. Yeah, if we... I'm trying to think. They didn't even use the T-West again, did they? So they didn't even need that. What could I have done to stop this, if anything? I'm not sure I could have, to be honest. Yep, and that's lethal damage. It do have trample. If they didn't have trample, then yeah, I'd been fine, but that ain't how that works. Amulet Titan. Lost for game 1. Let's move to game 2. Warping Whale only hits GSZ, so Jailer in. That stops the Aftermath Analyst lines, returns out. Move to sideboard. And we want any number of consign. Consign can counter, obviously, some triggers, but not all. Bog is relevant. Gemstone is not currently. Ghost Quarters is. So we could bring in, like, a consign. Maybe two if we cut like a Devourer or a Emrakul. But Emrakul I think is a good way to close out. So maybe a Devourer for a second consign. That brings us down to 11. And I think that should be good. Alright, let's see what we can do. On to play for game 2. I can keep. You would like not a consign, a Kozilek's command. Rumble would be fine as well. There's the command. Imprint. Talisman. Pass. And pass. So next turn we have a command X equals 3 to scry draw. We could also hold it. Grazer. 4. Saga. Draw. Temple. Pass. And I guess we should hold up the ability to respond. What I would like is a way to get rid of that Saga before they're able to search for an Amulet. End step. Start thinking about making a construct. Let's scry draw. And done. There's the Myco spawn. Let's go top and top. And Wooded Foothill, fetch for a forest, kick Myco, three types in yard, kick Saga, grab a Ghost Quarters or a Temple. Ghost Quarters does lock them out of Amulet lines, so I think Ghost Quarters is better. And hold. So now they need to utilize Spelunking instead of Amulet. There's Valakut. Valakut's fine for now. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. Land. Our turn, comrade. And opponent scoops. Alright. Win for game 2. Let's move to game 3. We'll bring back the Gemstone Cavern. And cut a consign. I wonder if instead of Consign, a Warping Wheel might be beneficial, because it acts as another talisman, theoretically. Yeah, let's run it like that. And it also can counter GSC in a pinch. Because we did see GSC in the graveyard last game, so we know that it exists in this list. On the draw for game 3. I will keep. Keep. Pass. So at least Jailer will lock them out of the Aftermath Analyst line, forcing them to at least go through Beseiju beforehand. Saga, Trigger, Amulet, Oof, Draw, Emrakul, Sprawl. Oh, I'm dumb. Yeah. A good example of me pre-sequencing and just not paying attention. Like, I named Emrakul. No, Emrakul is a 7-mana value spell. No, I could have played the Soulless Jailer or the Lab right away and just didn't, right? So, that's on me. 'Tis on me. Explore. Land. That's 2. No additional land on Grazer, right? Yeah. There's Cavern of Souls. So what we can do, let's play Cavern of Souls, name Eldrazi, play Talisman, and play Jailer. And pass. And pass. So like I said, this at least forces them to go through a different line. And they need to get either Otawara or Beseiju to deal with the Jailer because they can't loop with the Aftermath Analyst. They either don't have a threat or don't have a bounce land. Good to know. Now this actually works out really well. Because now we can exile the Shifting Woodland and also grab a Ghost Quarter. Shifting Woodland's an important piece of the loop. And Ghost Quarter will keep the Amulet of Vigors at bay. Soulless Jailer will also hold off the Aftermath Analyst combo. So we're in a decent spot right now. Now opponent can get around the Ghost Quarter with a Lotus Field, and that is a bit concerning. It just does narrow down the number of lines they have available, which I think is the important part in this matchup. Started off a bit sloppy, but we did get where we needed to go. Opponent's thinking hard on this one. They just scoop it up. I'll take the win. I think they still could have played it out and gotten a few turns for it, but I'll take it regardless. With that said, we'll be back for match 4. Alright, and we're back for match 4 on the play for game 1. I will keep what are we looking for off the top? Malevolent Rumble, Kozilek's Command, Sowing Mycospawn, so a lot of good hits. Trigger 1, Trigger 2. There's Command, there's Mycospawn. Which one's better? I would say Myco, right? Turn 2 Myco. At the same time, the Command sets us up, but Myco... Yeah, I think Myco is the right choice here. Myco... And Breeding Pool, Shock, Sprawl for red, and pass. And pass. We'll tuck the Emrakul, because right now we don't have anything to really drive cards into the grave. Whereas Null Drifter, Devourer will both be castable if we draw into a land. What is opponent tinkin'? The initial feeling tells me that Chrysalis might not be the best fit for this deck. The question is, are the alternatives better? The alternatives being Thought Not Seer, Glaring Fleshraker, and Karn the Great Creator. And I just think that a lot of people are going to move their sideboards away from artifact hate. You know, we're not going to see as many collector oofs. We're not going to see as many Rathus guys, what have you. And because of that, I think artifact decks like, as I mentioned earlier, Affinity, Hardened Scales, Basking Brute Scale combo, what else? Belcher is going to see an uptick in play rate. Gala Shrine, Shock for Thoughtseize on one. Felia, March. That's actually pretty horrid for me. So I will Lab, Imprint, Emrakul, and then we're going to have to Evoke here with the Null Drift. And then pass. Okay, that's looking promising. Draw, so that tells me they have a Felia. There's a Rumble, which is nice. Talisman. And then Myco. The only issue here is that they'll be able to set up for a Felia into Overlord next turn. But I think that we'll have to do Temple, pass. There's the Felia, as expected. The good news is they do go into Overlord. Then we can just exile with the Devours, which they know full well that we have, right? So they get to select a card. They could go Ketramos. They'll get exiled too. There's the Overlord as expected. They could be holding up Ephem. Turns no cards. Good stuff there. Felia. We'll flicker the Overlord. Does mean it does crash into the Sowing Myco spawn though. Unless they find a Solitude. I mean, it doesn't even matter, right? It will ETB on end step. Okay. I think that's a bit aggressive and probably wrong. Because they could have protected the Overlord from the Devourers. But now that's not an option. We can Rumble and Devourer next turn, which is important. Did they whiff again? I think they did. Oofda. Double Rumble. I'll grab a Sowing Myco spawn or a Sanctum. Let's grab Sowing Myco spawn. And then Devourer of Destiny. And I think I will exile the Felia and clear the Overlord. Yes, because the Felia can be brought back by Overlord, where Overlord cannot. And pass. Ephem, no targets. Another Overlord. We'll just exile that one too, friend. Don't you worry. Verge for Emperor. Emperor, target, Null Drift, Flicker Wisp, which means we need to get rid of Emperor. Bit annoying, but not the end of the world. Rumble, Bajukabog. I'll grab a Cavern of Souls. Actually, you know what? Ghost Court. Ghost Quarter can be good for their MDFC lands. I don't think that's going to be relevant right now, though, so we'll just exile the Emperor. Attack for 6, and Lethal's now on board. Opponent scoops it up. We'll take the win against Blink. Let's go to game 2 sideboard. So we want Dismember return, yes, but Consign is also relevant, right? The delayed triggers are good. Dismember is a definite. The returns are kind of... they're okay. Bog's definitely out. We can probably cut one more in the way of a Ghost Quarter. Maybe keep it like this. Because return does clear a lot of their board. A lot of it's X2 or smaller. Dismember does deal with Ketramos and Overlord well, though. Maybe we cut one Consign and then one Breaker. Devour hits more across the board. So yeah, I think we do this. Try and have an even split here. If this version does stick, the sideboard definitely needs to get refined a bit more. On the draw for game 2. We'll keep this. We're looking for a soul land off Devourer. Keep. Trigger, reveal. Or I guess not trigger, reveal, that will trigger later. Thoughtseize for 1. It is a Thoughtseize. You should take this command. So if that's the case, our best draw off Devourer is going to be a Rumble. Trigger. No Rumble, but we do find the Soul Land. Let's go for the Utopia Sprawl instead. Now this is a bit dangerous because they could have brought in White Orchid Phantom. And if they do, then we are going to be in trouble. So, bit of a dangerous play, but if it does work out, then we can Myco Spawn on 2 into another Soul Land. Let's say you opponent got a Shrine Shock. You have the White Orchid, you don't, but you have a Felia. That's what that tells me. Temple, cast Myco, and we'll grab a Eldrazi Temp and pass. Let's see the Felia. So likely they're setting up for an Overlord play. In that case, I'd love to draw into a land for a Devourer. Land, fetch. Could also be Ketramos, I suppose. Either that or they hold up another Ephem. Bit of a repeat scenario as last time. If they do attack into the Thelia, they'd have to crash into the Myco spawn. Vindicate. That is rude. They'll flicker the Sowing Myco spawn. That way they can get it 2 in. Draw. Consign to memory. Not going to cut it right now. We have to pass. No point in not attacking because they're just going to flicker it anyways. I guess they could flicker their own thing though. Yeah, give and take on this one, right? Like, on one hand, attacking is probably right. On the other hand, this means that they no longer have to flicker my Myco spawn to get damage in. They can instead flicker whatever, even if it doesn't have value, to grow the Thelia. But they have the Overlord of the Bailmerk, so that's a problem. They whiff again on it, though. Yeah, if we had freaking blue source, this would be fantastic. Yeah, trigger that. Yeah, so maybe holding back the Myco spawn would have been correct. Down to 14. Overlord comes back. We don't have much in the way of recourse here. 4 types in yard, which is good. We're at 8. K command, that's rude as hell. Let's see what you hit off the Overlord. Yeah, short of me drawing into a green source, things are looking pretty grim. They whiff again. What the hell? Okay, well, you know, I should have specified as a green land and not just a talisman. That's on me, I'll admit. I'll take 8 here. They have a Flicker Wisp hitting that, or flickering the Witch Blessed Meadow to hit the talismans, correct? Yep. Good play there. They attack, once again, flickering my Myco spawn. You probably should, I guess they would have to target regardless, right? Yeah. Picks up White Orchid Phantom. I mean, White Orchid Phantom does get me my green source that I'm looking for, so not like the worst thing, but we're not in a good spot either, as we're only going to have 3 mana worth. Flicker Wisp gets back. Draw. Talisman, not going to cut it. We can block, but that's 6 damage. Yeah, you got it. Concede. Let's move on to game 3, shall we? Go to sideboard. I will cut the gemstone in favor of the Ghost Court. And run it back. On the play for game 3, I will keep. Knowing that they do have the White Orchid and Vindicate. Windswept Teeth, fetch. Utopia Sprawl for red. Pass. And pass. Thoughtseize. Takes Null Drift or Consign? I'd say Null Drift, but Consign is a genuine threat for them. It does a lot. They gonna take the Null Drift so we can't dig deeper. Draw, Wooded Foothill. Play Talisman of Curiosity and Wooded Foothill and pass. Hold out the ability to respond in case it is relevant. Fetch. Shock. Emperor Bones. White Orchid Phantom. Target. Fetch in response. Commercial District. Trigger. Malevolent Rumble top. And draw. Malevolent Rumble. There's Null Drift. I think I'll go Breeding Pool. Probably don't need to shock it. Breeding Pool tapped. Hold up Consign and pass. Ketramos resolves. Passing. I'll take the 2. Draw. Another Consign. Cast 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess alternatively I could just consign my evoke trigger, but I think we hold. Now we get the hold up consigned to memory. Another rumble. Not my favorite thing to see right now, I'll be honest. Shadowy Backstreet trigger resolves. This Null Drifter is genuinely a problem for them. White Orchid Phantom, ETBs, targeting. I'll float the blue, or do we consign? Kind of the same difference, right? I'll float the blue. Trigger, yes. Forest. Maybe for that reason there was an argument to hold up the Talisman instead. Because now they could Ephem. Which isn't the end of the world. Solitude, though, a bit more annoying. Yes. At this point we pass in full. So yeah, I guess maybe we should have held up the Talisman. I thought to myself, maybe don't hold up the Talisman because we have to pay the 1, but it's less interactable. So something to keep in mind. We have Dismember, which is nice. We do want to hold up blue. We have green-red, so I can rumble. Worldbreaker, Emrakul. Types in Yard, 3, 4, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are a bit short on the Emrakul. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the World Break. I'm not sure that's relevant. So I think we go Writhing Chris instead. And play Writhing Chrysalis. We want to hold back the Ugin's Lab. I'm not sure if there's necessarily a reason to. We'll hold. Again, holding up the consigns. Marsh Flats fetch. Five for an Overlord? Yes. That would be my guess. Overlord the Baelmer trigger. I think I do. Do I actually want to consign this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, I do. Cast, target, and pay the 1. Because then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. End step, trigger, always yield. Return World Breaker. I couldn't see it for a second, I got genuinely scared. And draw. Malevolent Rumble. Ugin Lab. No imprint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Breaker. Only one card in hand. Trigger, exile the Overlord. Let's start going for the face. We want to be a bit aggressive here. That way, if they start triggering the Ketra, they can only do it so many times before it kills them. Those lethals now on board. We'll be able to rumble next turn, hold up the consign, hold up this member. Which Blessed Meadow tapped, really? Why? Flicker Wisp, flickering the Witch Blessed Meadow, destroying, I guess, Utopia Sprawl or the Talisman. Probably the better choice. Yeah, probably better to hit the Talisman. Down to 5. Destroys the Talisman. That's mistake. Sprawl is mana neutral. Green. Actually, before we do this, let's go Rumble. There's Devourer. Yes. 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 blue. Go to combat. Again, they have to block whatever's in front of them. If they do double block, there's a thought to where I can dismember something. I think they know about the dismember too. No, they don't actually. Okay. That's good to know. But yes, at the very least, they do need to block both of these. Next turn, we can clear the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And we're currently holding up consign. So I suppose... Okay. Interesting. So that is 6. So I mean, I can just sack the spawn. Okay. So that's 7 damage. So in that case, I will dismember the White Orchid Phantom. Is that right? That was 2, 4, 7, yes. I will dismember the White Orchid Phantom. Go to damage. And then pass. And now it comes down to this final play. What you got, opponent? You have a consign waiting for you. And you can't block or attack with a Ketra. Emperor Bones. Trigger. Target. Emrakul in response. I'm just gonna do this. Like I said, Consignment Memory is really good in this matchup. Opponent scoops it up. We got the win. And we're on to match, what is this? 5. Lost track of how many matches we played so far. That said, we'll be back shortly. Alright, and we're back for match 5 on the draw for game 1. I might sound a little bit farther away from the mic than normal. My cat has decided that now was the perfect time to want attention, and so she's currently sitting in my lap in a cat bed. You might be able to hear if I lower the mic. Let's see. It's picking up on the recording, so some little cat ASMR. I will keep this hand. What do we want to pitch, though? Because we want Devourer. We want Gemstone. I think we pitched the Forest. Done. Reveal Devourer. Play Gemstone. And exile Devourer to Gemstone. And pass. Because then we can go Temple Talisman. Wooded Foothills, Fetch for Blood Crypt, Shock for Thoughtseize. Another Glyph is fine. Trigger. Malevolent Rumbler Myco. I think we go Myco. Temple Talisman and pass. This now sets us up for a potential kicked Myco on 2 if we draw into another temple. Otherwise, we can always sit back with a command X equals 3. Faithless Looting. Is this Boomer Jund again? Is this Hollow One? It's starting to look like maybe Hollow One with the FOMO. A mountain and a Burning Inquiry would really suck, but I feel like that wouldn't be a lot of value for them. Hollow One, so I was right. 'Tis a Hollow One. Draw. Command. Yeah, so we can command X equals 3. Alternatively, I could Myco spawn Bajuka Bog and shrink that Goyf. I think we will Verdant Catacombs and pass. I need something to deal with this Hollow One. combat. In that case, I am fetching for a forest. And I think, question of the day, do we command and exile the Netherglyph? Or we scry draw X3 and then block 2? Let's exile. Two, three, four, five. The alternative is I could scry draw into a land and set up. Let me do this. So another Netherglyph down. We'll proceed. I will block. Do I want to block here? Actually, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 11. And I'll block here. All right. Paying cost for Bowmaster target spawn. Yes. Sack spawn in response. And pass. So we still have 6. Butter, don't harass me. I know, you want to be up here. Yes. Now the cats are fighting over my lap, apparently. Boy. Let's kick a Myco. Get rid of Blood Crypt for another temp. The next turn we can cast a pretty big command. You also have Command X1 if needed. Faithless Looting again. FOMO, Goblin Lore, Swamp, and to combat. Do we want to block the hollow one? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have an X equals 6 next turn. So I think I'll block with a spawn. And draw. Breeding Pool, shock, and pass. You might end up scry drawing here. We'll get pinged for 1, but that's not the end of the world. The combat, attackers, a hollow one, and yeah, we'll just go in. X equals 7. This will trigger the Orcish Bowmaster. They could try and kill spawn, they could also ping me. So we get this set up pretty well. Bottom, 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 top, top, and draw. This way, if they seize the World Breaker, at least then we'll be able to grab it back. I'll sacrifice the spawn. And then go to blocks. I'll block with a spawn. And pass. Worst thing probably would be a Burning Inquiry, to be honest. Because they'd be able to machine gun a lot down, but I feel like they would have played that prior to, right? Goblin Lore is fine. There's a Detective's Phoenix in Yard. That's good to note. And looks like it's my turn. Draw. Let's start out with a Malevolent Rumble. No, I don't want that. I want Null Drift. The only problem with Null Drift, of course, is the fact that there's the Bowmast. So let's see. Doesn't look like we're going to be playing it this turn anyways. World Break, target Hollow One. And Mega Spawn attack in for 3. They'll eventually have to block with that Bowmaster, but opponent's going to scoop it up. We'll take it. Didn't see any green sources, so I do think it's likely that this is just Rakdos and not Jund. Tempted to go Warping Whale, but I think the Returns Dismembers are better here. Bajuga Bog is good. Ghost Court is kind of meh. Yeah, Butter. Ghost Court is kind of meh. And I think maybe we just go, because World Breaker is good. Devour is kind of eh. It's also not bad. So yeah, I think we cut like this. Hi, Butter. What? He's very perturbed by the fact that Meep is in my lap and he isn't. You get lap time all the time. She doesn't ask for lap time often. That and you're 3 years old and she is 17. You have plenty of time to be in a lap. Versus this one here, well, to be completely transparent, Meep could die any day now. She's been through a lot in her life. And that her golden years are not exactly doing her any favors between being diabetic, having chronic bronchitis, and just being generally underweight. That, and we also think she has intestinal cancer, so she's also on chemo right now. You have to give her that with gloves, because she is slightly radioactive. Yes, you are. You're slightly radioactive. So if you guys ever wonder where your funds from Patreon go to, vet bills. That is the answer to that question. I'll keep this. And pass. So we'll go Ugin Lab, Tuck, Emrakul or Drift? I want to say Drift, actually. Thoughtseize, Inquiry, shuffle things up. Goodbye Emrakul, and goodbye Drift, Jesus. Well. Do we see a hollow one? We see one hollow one. Do we see another hollow one? Thankfully, no two. Utopia Sprawl. Yeah, we should probably go Utopia Sprawl. The other option is obviously Dismember on the hollow one. I think we do want to ramp for red. And pass. And pass. We're definitely Thoughtseize proof. Mako and Faithless Looting. Pontinkin. What this? Oh, it's a Phoenix targeting Mako. Oh, why would... On one hand, that makes it so that it is outside of Dismember range. On the other hand, weird. I respond to that one. Rumble. Rude. You could go Talisman. Temple might be better though. Temple. Play Temple. Hold up, double Dismember? Yuck. Would I really double Dismember the hollow one? And we take 8 to mitigate 6. Mitigate 7. So we really only take 1 extra. Block. Dismember. And one more time. Dismember. Alright. Not ideal, but here we are. Wooded Foothills. What's that last card of yours, friend? Fine, keep your secrets. Null Drift. Rumble. I'd love to see something here. What I see here is interesting to me, because we could Null Drift clear, but it would require me to pay 3, which is the equivalent of amount of damage that I'll take next turn anyways. So give and take. Now the talisman of different color talisman, that might be relevant. How do you want to proceed? Talisman of Impulse. I think I will play the Catacombs and then pass. What I'll do is I'll block the Mako, take the 2 down to 4, go down to 3, bring in the Breeding Pool tapped, fetch for a Surveil land. Hi, Butter. He's now laying across my desk. Which, I mean, he takes up a decent amount of it. He's about, what, like 3 feet long? Something that degree? I think when I last measured him, maybe a bit longer. He's a big cat. Thoughtseize. Rude as hell. Takes the Null Drift. Maybe we should have insulated it with the Ugin Lab, but then we wouldn't have been able to fetch with the Verdant Cat. Awkward. Before going to blocks, I'm gonna fetch. Grab a Commercial District. Trigger. No to the Talisman. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I will take the 3 down to 2. Didn't matter. Alright, yeah, no, we'll get there. Lost for game 2, let's move on to game 3. I will cut the gemstone, and we can bring in a Kozilek's Return. Let's run it back. Yeah, as awkward as it was, I mean, it was the right move on their part for putting the Phoenix onto the hollow one. I'll keep. 7 mana value spell off the top, a temple off the top, a green source off the top. All solid hits. We'll pass. Hold out the ability to respond on the off chance it's relevant. Of course, we're hoping that they do not have a Thoughtseize here. They shock those. Let's see their Mako. It's Mako. Good. We'll pass. Let's see what we hit. Ugin Lab. Imprint. And pass. I will want to scry draw here. Unless they make this Mako extra big. We'll probably just hold this command. Faithless Looting's fine. And if they looting into an inquiry, I think we probably just command make spawns and exile the Mako. There's a Phoenix. Not a fan of that. Right now it's okay. They pitch a Street Wraith though, it's a bit of a problem. Combat attack. I mean, I think maybe taking to 3 is fine. I shall take the 3. Street Wraith, okay, take the 4. Fine. Surprised they didn't Street Wraith beforehand, though. Another Goyf is fine. We can shrink the Goyf with the Miko. Yeah, I think ideally we go Miko into the Jukabog. That shrinks the Goyf and gets rid of the Phoenix in yard. Done. Windswept Heath top, Ugin Lab bottom draw. And draw. Temp. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Windswept Heath, fetch. A shock for a stomping ground. Shock. And kick a Miko. Get rid of their black source. Grab the Jukabog. The Jukabog, target them, shrink the Goyf, and get rid of the Phoenix. And then pass. And pass. 2, 3, 4, 5. So tempted then to block the Miko with the Marauder and set up for the Devourer to exile it. That'd be my next thought. They find a land. Fetch the 14. Another Goyf grows a bit. For a swamp. Basic swamp. Why a basic? Interesting. Faithless Looting to grow the Mako. Definitely feeling like we're blocking that. The Goyf will grow as well, but I'm not as worried about that in the immediate. Ooh, geez, Molten Rain. Okay. Another Goyf. That's fine. I'll block the Mako. Draw. Dismember. Return Devourer to hand. Let's get rid of that Mako before long. And the good news is the Devourer can cleanly block the Nether Goyfs. Next turn we can Rumble. And pass. What you got, opponent? You got your third land back. Do you have another Molten Rain? Burning Inquiry. Oh, I would have loved that Emrakul. You suck. And also a Rumble too, Jesus. And you have a Detective's Phoenix in yard? You gotta be joking me. So now I really do need... What do I need here? Okay, so you know what? This is another example of where Karn would have been really good. Because we would have been able to play Karn. We would be a bit short. Wait. Opponent. Making interesting choices. Oh, well, you know what? Maybe not as interesting as I think. I need World Breaker, Devourer, or Emrakul. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. Green Source. Rumble. We will Rumble. There's Devourer, and we can clean sweep. Hell yeah. Two, 4, 5, 6, Sanctum 7. Confirming one more time. Yes. We know the Nether Goyf is normally a 4/5. So we exile the Phoenix and not the Goyf. Yes for Emrakul. And then clean sweep. And then go to attacks. Lethal's now on board. And if we need, we have Emrakul. Think we got there? Street Wraith. Digging. Mountain. We got there. Good stuff. Very, very close match. But I will take the win, allowing us to close out this league with a 3-2 record. It's not bad, not good. Oh, actually, correction. Not bad. Could be better, but a 3-2 record is very respectable. I think a lot of people do get lost in the weeds of like, oh, it's not a 4-1, oh, it's not a 5-0, right? But, I mean, a 3-2 record is very good. It's more than 50%. And I think if you can just 3-2 every single league, I mean, you're doing well, right? So with that being said, solid league. We'll continue testing Temur Eldrazi Ram, specifically if Writhing Chrysalis in it for a while, probably for the remainder of this week. I'll probably then transition over to either Thought-Knot Seer or Glaring Fleshraker the week after. And hopefully 2 weeks in, we'll start seeing a bit more of a meta develop. And we'll be able to start maybe seeing what our Karn Wishboard will look like. That way we can also start testing Karn, especially we do see, as I mentioned before, those artifact-focused decks like Hardened Scales, Belcher, Brood Scale, Affinity start making the rounds. I do also think we'll be able to start tuning our non-Karn sideboard. Beyond Temur, we of course will probably retest Gruul, more surrounding probably Urgast instead of Null Drifter. So we kind of just go for a clean replacement, shifting Writhing Chrysalis up to 4, Urgast to 3. So you have a 3-3 split on Urgast Emrakul. Does allow us to maybe switch up our sideboard a bit. Maybe some Void Winnowers are still relevant, or other potential threats. So things to think about, things to test. And overall, I mean, the BNR is going to be here for a week until before... Isn't even a week? No, how long is it? When does Tarkir release? Is it like a week from now? I swear if it's a week from now. Like either a week or 2. Tarkir Dragonstorm release date. It's like less than 2 weeks out, for God's sake. So yeah, we get like 2 weeks of testing post BNR before we then get Tarkir's drop. And then with Tarkir, then we get the introduction of Ugin as well as some other pieces here and there. So all of our testing right now is kind of just trying to figure out what the meta looks like. And then from there, we're going to have to do a lot of retesting thereafter. So it'll be interesting. But with that being said, as always, folks, if you guys did enjoy today's video, please do consider hitting the like button. Comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback. It is always appreciated. For as much as I hope that you all learn from me in both my successes and my failures, I hope that I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you have reached this point in the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. We're getting closer and closer to our next goal of 1,000 subscribers. With that being said, folks, I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye!